Because not everything needs to be some sort of monumental cultural tectonic shift. Sometimes we all just need a hunk of that sleaze cheese. Sometimes you just need a break from reality, a break from yourself, a chance to really lose yourself in something otherworldly, something gross and relatively cheesy. Comfort food for the soul, if you will, a big old hunkin' mess delivered in high definition of a bastardized version of a suboptimal Stephen King yarn. Something the master of horror himself undoubtedly penned in alcohol or illicit drug-fueled haze and haphazardly stitched together for a collection of short stories called Night Shift. Because not everything needs some sort of monumental cultural tectonic shift. Sometimes we all just need a hunk of that sleaze cheese. What's up, everybody, and welcome back to Beyond the Gray Media, and happy Monday. God, I hate that term. Tonight, after hearing people at work, everybody and their damn mother talk about the unfair justification of the Midwest and the Bible Belt farmers abhorrently trying to manually adjust their clocks forward and how tired everyone is. Those jokes and that low-hanging fruit, I need to unplug, man. I just need to give myself something really easy to digest. A popcorn flick that can really kind of make your workday feel a whole hell of a lot worse. Nothing could be as bad as the job that they have to do in the 1990 certified cult classic, Graveyard Shift. You might be asking yourself, Josh, doesn't this involve a giant hellspawn rat? How is this possibly going to help my Monday? Well, friend, happiness and new beginnings are often disguised in many ways and usually involves a painful ending. Thanks for being here. Let's check this thing out. Before we get into this review, I am so excited, so pleased to announce that I have a brand new partnership with themovieroom.com. Themovieroom.com, you want a new 4K Blu-ray, new piece of physical media? Here's where you need to go right now and put in my code, BEYOND10, all one word, capital BEYOND 10, Beyond 10. Go to themovieroom.com right now for 10% off your order. Check out these new 4Ks, these new pieces of physical media, Blu-rays. You want that new Graveyard Shift? Boom, you got it. Type in my code BEYOND10 at checkout to save 10% off. The Movie Room's got all kinds of brand new 4Ks and Blu-rays from every different studio, every different genre, whatever you're looking for. They got a little bit of something for you. Check them out today. 1990's Graveyard Shift isn't your typical King adaptation. It's a 90s gem that has somehow transformed into a sleeper cult classic, despite the fact that even King himself wasn't a huge fan of it. Set in a decaying textile mill, Graveyard Shift feels like a classic 90s horror flick. You know the vibe, gritty, industrial, and just a little bit too close to reality. You think you had a bad day? Buddy, take a step inside this text. It is something else, man. That factory itself is a character. It's got these shadowy corners. It's got this rusted, blood-soaked machinery that it does create this sense of foreboding doom, this dread, right? It's a world where the mundane meets the monstrous. And honestly, who wouldn't be terrified working the night shift in a place like this? Introducing John, our everyman hero. He takes a job at this hellish factory, not knowing the horrors that do lurk just beneath the surface, or that basement, whatever you want to call it, however they got down there. This job sucks, dude. But things take a turn for the worse when the team discovers a terrifying secret in the depths of this mill. Yes, I'm talking about a monstrous, rat-like creature that haunts and stalks the flaky and unassuming newbies lucky enough to draw the night shift. Man, it's pretty effective when it's used right in this film. I'm telling you right now, this thing is a blend of practical effects and sheer body horror, something that you don't really see much in today's CGI-heavy laden horror landscape. It's raw, it's gritty, it's gross, it's slimy, it's pretty effective, man. I don't really have a fear of rats. I don't have a fear of really any sort of like creepy crawl, anything like that. But the practical effects, this is a reminder of how great those things can be when they're used correctly. It's this massive practical rodent. Real rats on rat set, right? Slimy, gross, and yeah, pretty damn effective. Now, despite King's own reservations about this film, it's become a cult classic because it embodies that 90s horror charm, right? It's over the top, yet it's oddly relatable because nobody wants to be stuck working in this hellhole. It's a mix of humor, it's a mix of horror, and it does kind of keep you engaged all the way to the end, even though you might take a little bit of a nap around minute 45 to like 50. There's just some time where you don't really care about these characters, but it's a short story by Stephen King. They made a 90-minute film. It's not, what are you expecting, right? It's not going to be perfect, and neither is this 4K. Now, the film and the characters, they're not really given a whole lot of room or character arc to explore the factory life. You just know that there's hopefully no reality where your job could possibly suck as bad as this one does. Bad accents and bad characters and some flimsy pacing still isn't enough to completely ruin this film for me. I actually really kind of love it. This is a soft spot. This brings me back to being sick on the couch. This is a throwback creature feature, man. And I think it's just the sheer amount of sweat and humidity that is on the screen. It sucks, man. That isolation, that claustrophobia that you see as a viewer, you are stuck in this hell right along with them. And that isn't any place I want to be. Let's talk about some of the effects in this film. Now, the giant rat at the end, I think that it's actually pretty damn effective. Comparing this to something like The Mangler or even Night Flyer, I think this looks way better. I think because like in Jaws, you don't see it very much how they use the shark and all of a sudden it comes out of the water and it's very effective. It's similar to that where you've got this like these hordes of rats just constantly, there's these people loading cotton into this thing and they're just constantly messing with people and there's blood everywhere and they're just slowly kind of taking over this night shift. It's a trip. When we finally get down to the basement, this thing just takes people one by one, and I think the effects are really cool. The teeth are awesome. It almost has these crazy like wings and this crazy tail, and I think it's actually pretty damn gory. It's pretty damn nasty, and it's pretty damn awesome. And I'm a huge fan of the look of the end of this movie, and I think that for a long time, the last 20 minutes save this film because it kind of feels like you're trapped in this basement, right? And you're seeing this creature very, very sparingly, and then all of a sudden it decides to go full freaking rat. Tons of gross out body horror, tons of blood, tons of guts, tons of makeup for about an hour or so. Not so great Shawshank like paid employee imprisonment. Kind of feels like a Stephen King film from the 90s. It really does. Feels like you're watching something like Green Mile or Shawshank without all the esteem, right? But it's that single location, that single setting that becomes so claustrophobic, and it just works. And you throw in the only good actor in the film, Brad Dourif, who crushes it as Tucker, who's this kind of like, like M80 bomb wielding dude that just wants to blow up every single rat because of something that happened over in Vietnam. And it's a trip to watch. He acts his ass off, and I love Graveyard Shift.